Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. This is still the press preview edition, and today we're going to do an activity. We are going to do, finally, one of these bush trips. We're going to start with the Breckenridge to Mariposa Yosemite bush flying trip. Now, these bush flying trips are set up as multi-legged affairs. We are going to do leg one today, 63 nautical miles, theoretically 41 minutes in the air. And I guess the description will be updated once we punch in here. This is going to be highly VFR centric, with basically just text descriptions of landscapes to follow along the way. Fingers crossed that we can vaguely not get lost. So let's see what we can do. And there's achievements and things to get from completing these as well. Now, these are set up with, I believe, specific time of day and weather, as well as realism settings. You are locked in, so you can't just like change some of the weather things, and I believe you are locked into having, you know, all the engine stress, airframe stress, all those things are locked in, which is hard for me because when I won't go into full, like, you know, visual tourism mode, yeah, some of the maneuvers I do may be a little bit outside of the airframe limitations, so I'm gonna have to try to be a little bit more careful with that. No, like, dive bombing down because I want to get a cool close-up look of something. On the other hand, I think we're not going to be flying very high for this. Now, I'm not sure where this first leg is going to take us. It might end us up right there at that corner. We will see. Breckenridge Airport. Here we are in a glorious little plane. And we're currently with everything turned off. Excellent. Okay, so these are... okay, we can have the VFR map up. Come on. Hey, there we go. Thank you. We can have the VFR map up, but as you'll see, or won't see, our plane isn't on here. Because the point of this is to navigate with these descriptions along the way and try not to get lost. If you do get lost, you can hit this back on track button, and you don't get an achievement. But we are going to be, I think, flying this way through some ravines until we hit sort of a lake and follow a river. Oh, yeah, right over here. Okay. Yeah, because I sort of looked at this ahead of time. We're sort of going to be cutting through a ravine, hit a lake, go east that way, and then, okay, the airport's not too far away at that point. That will be our first stop over here. So let's turn off the VFR map. So, navlog. First step, and we're going to have our stopwatch, we're going to try to use this. The first step is going to take about 3 minutes, 7 seconds-ish to achieve. It's 4.75 nautical miles, directly 12 degrees from where we take off. However, so if we just fly by the crows fly, it's not going to take us 3 minutes over here. But the idea is to sort of follow some of this stuff. So, welcome to Bakersfield, California, your first stop on this tour of the North American High Sierra. From a quaint airstrip, wind your way north along a stretch of road through the agriculture-rich landscape. Eventually, your path will intersect with State Route 178 highway, leading you northeast towards the Sierra Nevada mountains and the path of the Kern River. So here's our default view. Here's if we move up, down, go to instrument view. There's really not a whole lot going on there. Now, one of the things that's really going to mess with me while we're inside the cockpit is the fact that we've only got the little whiskey needle kind of thing going on, the standard compass in here, which has a little bit of lag as it sort of rocks and rolls around. And also, like, the markers are like inverted, right? Because of the way this rotates, the numbers don't go the way you would expect. So if I make a right turn, we're going towards, say, the 33 if we turn to the right. So left is right, right is left, cats living with dogs, anarchy all over the place. This is going to mess with me. Now, you're allowed totally to fly outside the plane, which we will be making use of a lot because this is going to be a very visually oriented flight. And the nice thing about that is you do get the real sort of like instant barometer kind of number over there. And just actually having a number to look at is pretty useful. But right now, we are facing sort of west-ish, almost directly west, and we are going to be going north and slightly to the east is what we're going to do. So when we take off, we are going to be making a 90-degree right turn, basically, is what we're looking at. And yeah, we are. This is a heck of an airfield, ain't it? Okay. Well, we normally would start this with everything on, but because of my my honeycomb yoke that I've got now, and the fact that I had all my switches turned off, it killed everything when we came in here. So do we have startup checklists and things on this plane? I mean, there's not much to it, but sure. Brakes set and tested. Well, I can Confirm the toe brakes are there. Where's the actual parking brake? It's probably one of these little nubbins. No. If I hit the parking brake button on my... Is it possible this plane doesn't have a parking brake? Flaps. To get shrunk, like, pretty dramatically. I mean, I know this isn't important, but I'm kind of curious at the same... It's not important for us, like, doing this flight today. Throttle control. Oh, really? I should move my throttle controls to the other side. Yeah, because some of them, they're a little pull. I think, and if I hit the parking brake button here, I don't see anything move. I think this plane doesn't have a parking brake. So you must just put down chocks or chokes on the ground. The thing that you put, like, in front and behind of a wheel. One of those things. It's like, I read the word. I don't know if I've ever, like, had a conversation about the word before, so I'm not 100% certain there. All right, default view is going to be fine. So let's go ahead. Battery altimeter. Yeah, break this choke on. This is the choke. So on to 100%, presumably. Throttle closed. Yep. Master switch is on. Done. Okay, start engine. Ignition switch is on. Start turn key. So, I see. Oh yeah, it's the avionics bus. I don't have to worry about that. So left-hand ignition, the mags. So I can use the key for this. Yep, left, right, both. Start. And, oh, hold the brakes. There's no parking brake. All right. Well, we seem to be on. Engine gauges. Checked. Well, is that the EHT? That's the exhaust temperature. And oil temps going up. Oil pressure is high into the green. We're going to let this warm up a little bit before we actually take off. After start engine. Oh, that's probably some of the pressure. Choke goes in. Oh, I don't know. That's it. Is that literally my last checklist? That's it. Okay. Well, thank you very much, plane. You've got a lot of extra details punched in here. No autopilot, nothing, whatever. You can't even set a heading bug. There is a barometer knob, but I don't have access to ATC. I think the weather is probably set to 29 or 92 kind of thing. But yeah, we're going to be doing this pretty visually. Oil temp is still coming up. We're just going to wait for it to hit the green. And what about lighting? Well, strobe lights, yes. What's this one? In-op. Landing lights. Okay. Well, I guess we'll leave the landing lights. We're going to do really low altitude flights. We can probably leave the landing light on the whole time. I suspect that will be okay. I can't actually see anything from here. I still can't. I have zero sense of how I'm lined up over here. This is a tail dragger. Once we do get up to speed, it will level out before taking off and give me some vision. Because, seriously, how do these guys have any idea if they're aligned with the runway? I mean, I guess I can... is it alt up? That's moving me upwards. There is a way to move upwards, and I can't remember what the hotkey is. But that might be it. I guess I can sort of look out the side a little bit and confirm if I'm lined up that way. Huh. A little freaky. I mean, we can use the compass alignment as well, but I guess that's it. Okay. Well, the temperature of the oil is not quite in the green, but I'm tired of waiting. So I'm going to go ahead, give it the full beans, release the toe brakes. You know what? I'm going to use the external view because I have no idea. Yeah, see? Hold on. Get back. Ah, shit. Short flight, you guys. But you know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to tell if I'm going straight or not? Outside, the external view makes it super easy. Now, we should, because I still have all my switches on, the plane should still be on, and that is indeed the case. You can go away, map. I won't need you. Okay, let's just try that again. Throttle full. Okay, yes. Now I'd be able to see. Okay, the tail really comes up quite quickly. And actually, ooh, we can take off really fast, too. Yeah, this plane is... Oh, nose down. Nose down. That's without any flaps. Oh my god. Okay, I underestimated how quickly you could take off of this thing. This is crazy sauce. So we're coming around. So we want to face, 90-degree turn. Face sort of northish. You can see the compass is like... It really likes to lag behind here. I'm going to throttle down a bit, because speeds are going quite quickly as is. So to me, this, vaguely on the compass, looks about right. But this is supposed to be a beautiful visual flight. And since we can't really turn our heads very easily and, you know, lean out the window to look down, we are absolutely 100% going to do most of the flight in this view over here. Okay, oh, that's right, of course. I was thinking, oh, I'm just to the right of the N on the compass. That means I'm going northeast, right? No, you have to be just to the left of the compass on the thing. The fact that the compass is backwards is a whole thing. So, right. So we're going to head here, wind your way north along a stretch of road through the agricultural rich landscape. Eventually, oh, and start the clock, please. Eventually your path will intersect with the state route. So there's a road here. This is probably the state route right over here, leading you northeast through the Sierra Nevada mountains and the path of the Kern River. That's probably it. We're going to keep sort of with this orientation, but we could follow it along, and we'll probably hit what we think is the next waypoint, what we suspect is the next waypoint, well before 3 minutes, especially if I'm going this way. How's our speed? Our speed's dropping a little. Let me see about thinning out. Now, here's the thing. Do we actually have a trim? Okay, it is responding over here. I actually don't know how you adjust the trim from inside the cockpit. Oh, there it is. Pitch trim. Okay. Like, hold on. No, I do have a bit of a memory of it. All right. Lovely little town. This might be Bakersfield itself, and I say lovely. I've actually heard people trash it pretty hard as being kind of boring. Not necessarily bad, but boring more than anything else. And yeah, at first I'm like, does this mean I'm off track? I think it's just letting me know this is a feature that is available. Now, I think the goal is actually to follow the river through here. So the next step says, fly above the Kern River as it carves through the chasm between two mountains forming the mouth of the Kern Canyon, even as the highway below takes a divergent path. Soon enough, you'll be reunited when the roads bend back into view and a modest bridge carries it across the water. And that'll be 7 minutes flight. So my speed is quite high, and I did fly more or less direct. Well, this might be the road. So I think if I'd wound along the road, it might have taken closer to 3 minutes. I think this is the highway that is being mentioned, right over here. And there's some river. I mean, there's river over here, and you can see it sort of turn and weave and cut a canyon over there. So this I'm pretty confident about. After this, I'm not 100% sure so much. But I did try to peek at some of the maps and some of the views ahead of time to try to figure out where we might be going. We'll do that. We do have to be very concerned about overspeeding. This thing has, like, I think a shocking amount of thrust for what I interpret to be, you know, kind of a, you know, a pretty limited and ancient airframe. Well, let's see what we can do. So this will be a longer video because it did predict that the whole flight would take about 40 minutes. That's assuming I don't get lost. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, right through here. And yeah, ultimately, we're going to be following, you know, we're going to cover about 12 nautical miles at 41 degrees, but we're going to be weaving our way through this. So we're coming at about 3 minutes. The bridge, that's the next waypoint, the bridge. The Kern River is where we are now. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and reset the timer and restart it. And so theoretically, we got about 8 minutes of flight here through the canyon. Of course, I could fly over the canyon. But why? Why would I fly over when I could fly in? So there you go. You can see the road. So it does say, even as the highway below takes a divergent path. So at some point, the road is not going to quite follow the river. We will probably continue to follow the river, since it's, you know, so easy to note. Now, I am getting a little bit of actual genuine frame rate slowdown over here, which I guess isn't the most shocking. Again, I have all the settings turned to ultra. It is worth noting I do not actually have the video card listed on, like, the optimal graphic settings, right? There's the minimum, there's the recommended, and then there's the optimal. I have a little above recommended, but below the optimal. So having everything set to ultra might be stressing things a little bit much. Okay, speed is good for this. If I needed to climb suddenly, I'd be able to do it. I'm not even at full throttle. Sitting at about 70, actually I'm sitting at about 60% throttle over here. See, this plane, I gotta give this thing kudos for some serious juice. Now, we're not carrying anything heavy. Of course, there's not much room to carry things heavy in here. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, baby. Now, this is pod racing. All right. Follow the river, through the canyon. Look like inside. It looks scary AF inside, is what it looks like. The good thing it's not a windy day, because we would be getting buffeted. On the load screen, that did say something about the wind. I think it's going in a direction 285. Was that at 7 knots? Been 17, but I feel like that would be stronger than what's going on than based on the feel here. I wonder how old these mountains, specifically right here, is part of the Sierras, right? And this river, like how long did it take to carve all this out? Must have been a while. Part of me is like, maybe I should climb out of the canyon here just to give a different view. Here, let's do it. We'll sort of alternate. Throttle to full. A little bit of pitch up. Of course, we'll try not to lose track of the river. Go too high, we go into the clouds too. But I'm definitely not planning on going that high up. All right, we're still losing a little speed because I'm pitching up quite aggressively. There we go. Less. And we'll slowly sort of climb out of here while trying not to lose sight of the river itself. Of course, one of the things with being above the canyon, it's going to really encourage me to fly a little more straight. Like I won't necessarily follow every bend in the river because I won't have to. I'll be like looking ahead and be like, oh, I can just fly directly there. So that'll change our timings a wee bit. Why? Look at this. One side green, one side dry. It must have to do something with the wind, the sun, and maybe rain patterns, right? Is one side, where are we flying? So right now we're flying east. So this is the southern face, right? Because it's the north of us, but it's the southern face, as opposed to the northern face. I mean, the southern face would get more sunshine, I guess, but it's hard to believe that that would be the determining factor. I would have to assume that moisture is more significant as an impact. Depending, I suppose, there could be something from a long time ago left over from glacial movement, like when the glaciers, because I think the glaciers came down this far. Certainly something I'm very aware of up north where I am. You can see on any exposed hillside, you can tell which way you're facing, because the north side of the hills has a completely different, the rock has a completely different wear pattern than the southern side, because of the glaciers moving in and then receding. And they do so in fairly significantly different fashion. And so you can tell that. It's really interesting. One's much smoother and a little more level. One will be a little bit more vertical and a lot sharper. It hasn't been worn smooth the same way. I think the northern side will be a lot smoother as the glaciers sort of pushed and scraped across it, because when the glaciers receded, they didn't really move back so much as just melt away. But they definitely moved from the north to the south as they grew and expanded, and they really just scraped it clean. And so I'm wondering if there's a difference in sort of topsoil or something. It doesn't make any sense. If anything, I would think the southern face might have had more. And topsoil wouldn't apply anymore anyway. It's only when you're looking at the rocky surface that I think you really start to see a difference. You have to make sure I don't overspeed, because we will get, exceed airframe limitations failing on this particular scenario. This activity. So much room for activities. The world is a big place, so there is actually a lot of room for activities. So this is probably, like, more of a safe and practical, I'm inside the canyon kind of thing. We could drop down, like, right in that little part, although that corner there would be a little scary to make. One coming up, it looks like we'd be making a right turn or smacking directly into a mountainside. Whereas here I can cut the corner quite a bit more with my extra altitude. Not to mention get a little bit better sight of what's going on. So yeah, to me this is the I'm hanging my head out the side of the plane kind of view. You can't really get, with VR it's going to be a lot easier when that all gets hooked up. Get a lot easier to get a sense of that. But otherwise, just flying from inside the cockpit certainly makes it a lot harder. Yeah, the frame rate performance is definitely on the lower side here, in a way that I'm not used to experiencing. Admittedly, there's some extraordinarily chunky terrain. We're very close to a lot of trees as well. I mean, that's... Wow, I'm looking off in the distance. That's a lot of trees being rendered all at once. So I can't really blame it. Now, things feel very responsive. It feels like there's a visual judder, but that seems completely... The actual, simulation sort of responsiveness and fidelity seems unaltered. So as you can see here, I believe, so we've lost the highway. It's gone off this way. But we're going to continue to follow the river. And at some point, they will rejoin. So actually, I can shrink this down, because we don't need this anymore. Soon enough, you'll be reunited when the road bends back into view and a modest bridge carries it over the water, which is the Della Nega Bridge, presumably. You know, what this waypoint is talking about. Although then there's a river bridge as well, which might just be the same river bridge what they're talking about. Because the next step is going to be continue tracking the Kern River along all its twists and turns, past rugged trailheads and remote campgrounds, natural hot springs, and a century-old hydroelectric plant. We'll find a sharp bend in the river that leads to a second railway bridge. Okay. Trying to follow the river for now. Gain a little bit of altitude here. Wait, is it just making a hairpin? Whoop. A little worried that I may have actually almost stalled a wing there. Okay, that is pretty sharp. Yeah, let's gain a little bit of height here. Let me recenter my view, although then still like, you know, being a little above the plane. I should probably tweak the default views over here to do that. I like looking down a little and being a little bit more zoomed out. Oh, there's the road coming back in. Where's it going to cross the river? Not a lot of people out here. Although I think there is going to be a town by the lake when we get there. Has anyone seen a hydroelectric dam either? We may not have crossed it. Might still be coming up. So we're 8 minutes in, so we're hitting the 8-minute timer. I think we're a little bit... Well, I may have reset a little soon as well. But theoretically, because again, if I, you know, based on the estimated flight time, it would be 7 minutes, 50 seconds. I'm now past 8 minutes, but I did reset. There's a bridge right there. That is probably the Della Nega Bridge. Reunited modest bridge carries it across the water. Yeah, that is definitely the highway, which is different from the rail bridge. Now we continue tracking the Kern. So let's reset this again. This is going to be just over 3 minutes, this next step. And eventually we'll find the sharp bend and a second railroad bridge. All right, let's keep an eye out for that. 3,000 feet now. Okay, which direction is the river flowing, I wonder? Okay, well, it definitely looks like it's going down here, so, okay. We must be following the river downstream. It must be flowing into that lake. Unless I'm, you know, just something about the angle of the camera over here is being deceptive. Maybe we're actually going uphill, but it feels to me like the river is flowing down in this direction, doesn't it? It must. But I was just thinking, like, my altitude. Am I climbing overall? Because if we're following this river and overall altitude is climbing, then that would mean we're going, you know, upstream. Certainly we've gone higher, but we're just actually higher off the ground as well. So I think... I don't know, we're still... Well, we're descending now. It's a little hard to get the sense of the actual river, just because, you know, camera and perspective make it a little hard to judge some of those aspects. Okay, so there's a road to the right. There's a road to the left. Is it possible that's rail to the right? It looks to me like paved road, but it's a little... I spent too long looking at the landscape. Not enough looking at my Speedo. Well, I'm not starting again, you guys. The rest is left as an exercise to the viewer. Damn it! Aww. Why was I so bad? Oh. Folks, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.